Good afternoon, my name is Lenard Ortiz and I'm running for Athenaeus Psyche's Finance Officer. I'm sorry I can't be there today. I have a Jeep orientation at 4:30 to 6, so please just bear with the video. Basically, my platform consists of three things. First thing, I want to change the reimbursement system of Psyche. People have been complaining about how slow the current reimbursement system of Psyche is. Core team members get their money back months after the project, sometimes never. Because of this, they become discouraged, traumatized even, from being active in the org. I know that this is something that none of us want, since Psyche wants people to be first, not money to be first. Moving on. I came up with a solution to this problem, which basically needs the finance committee to provide the core team with a percentage, maybe 50% of the budget for the project when they submit an approved budget proposal. The rest of the money will be given to them after they submit the required financial documents. Now my fellow candidates and I have found a loophole in this solution of mine. What if the core team spends on unnecessary expenditures like a piano or a drum set? Things we don't really need. I think that no matter how much we sanction them, that money can never be returned to us unless we make them singil themselves directly. That's why we came up with a new solution to the problem, which basically follows the principles of the new solution, only it will require the core team to present the receipts to the AFOs and FO before we give them the money. What's the difference from the current reimbursement system? With the current system, the core members have to wait for a long time after they submit the required financial documents. With the new system, they will get money right after or immediately after they present the receipts to the FO and to the AFOs. So that they won't have to pull out so much money from their own pockets. The second point, I want more training for the assistant finance officers. Personally, I feel that AFOs don't do enough for the org. People even call us resibo boys. Don't get me wrong. Hindi ako naasar or napipikon pag tinatawag niyo akong resibo boy. It's part of the job, I guess. Pero I think that it might be unappealing for any who might be interested in applying for an AFO position in the future. That's why I also want the AFOs to be required to join one project from each committee next year, with the exception of PR and PUBs. I want this because I want them to be visible, to have experience in financing projects. I mean, they could be the future FOs of the org. How can they do that job if they don't know the needs of each of the project? Another thing that I want for the AFOs is for them to co-head a fundraising project of their own, with their own core team, and the co-head not necessarily coming from the finance committee. Why do I want this? Because 2 years ago, we didn't have any fundraising projects. I mean, other than the shirts in Rec Week, which is kind of required. I want to continue what Chantal did with Les Miserables, only I want to do it differently. She took sole responsibility for Les Miserables, which is something that I do not want. Our job as leaders is to form the future leaders of our org. And I quote Lao Tzu, "A leader is best when people barely know he exists. When his job is done, his aim fulfilled, they will say to themselves, 'We did it ourselves.'" Yeah, that's the second thing I want. The third thing I want is transparency. It's been a practice that Chantal has done for this year's main EB. She has shown them all the money inflow and outflow of the org, which is something that I find good for the org, so that the main officers can be sure that no suspicious activity is happening and the money of the org is being put to good use. The end. Thank you.